Greetings to one and all. Today, I, Shruti Goyal, a student of BTech Biotechnology, Amity University, I'm here to present my research project on the topic, a transcriptome-based analysis for early detection of cervical cancer. Cervical cancer. When cancer starts in the cervix, it is called the cervical cancer. All women are at risk for cervical cancer. It occurs most often in the women over age 30. Long-lasting infection with certain types of human papilloma virus is the main cause of cervical cancer. HPV is a common virus that is passed from one person to another during sexual intercourse. At least half of sexually active women will have HPV at some point or the other in their life. But women, very few in number, can get cervical cancer. Screening test and the HPV vaccine can help prevent cervical cancer. When cancer is found early, it is highly treatable and associated with long survival and good quality of life. But the main problem associated with cervical cancer is its late showing symptoms, which makes the treatment more difficult. What is transcriptomics? Transcriptomics is the study of the transcriptome, which is the complete set of RNA transcripts that are produced in the genome under specific circumstances or in a specific cell using high throughput methods such as microarray analysis. Comparison of transcriptomes allows the identification of genes that are differentially expressed in distinct cell populations or in response to different treatments. RNA sequencing is the use of high throughput next generation sequencing technology to survey, characterize, and quantify the transcriptome of a genome. RNA sequencing has been used to analyze the pathogenesis of several malignancies such as melanoma, lung cancer, and colorectal cancer. RNA sequencing can identify differential expression of genes, mutated genes, fusion genes, and gene isoforms in disease states. Workflow of RNA sequencing and data analysis. The cells are cultured and the RNA is extracted. Further, the cDNA synthesis is performed, leading to sequencing of library preparation and sequencing with next generation sequencers. Then the raw sequence data is mapped to the reference genome using the TopHat program, and the DSEQ program is used to perform the differential expression analysis, which leads to gene ontology analysis and gene set enrichment analysis, which gives an idea about the highly significant and significant genes involved and also the biological pathways associated with the analysis. The objective for my project report is the identification of transcriptomic signatures for stage classification of cervical cancer. The first step was data sample collection. The data was collected from the Cancer Genome Atlas program. The core set included samples including squamous cell carcinomas, adenocervical type of adenocarcinomas, mucinous adenocarcinoma of endocervical type, etc. The dataset was further classified as stages, neoplasmic grades, age of patients, whether the tumor is present or not, and several other type of characteristics. For my analysis, I considered the clinical stage of patients. The next step was performing the post-component analysis. According to my analysis, the samples were grouped into stage 1, 2, and 3, which are the clinical stages of patients. Here, PC1 and PC2 contribute nearly 18% variance only. This is the scatter plot obtained from the post-component analysis. From this scatter plot, it can be clearly seen the formation of two clusters, one on the positive x-axis, whereas other on this negative x-axis. Then we look how the samples from different tumor stages were distributed. From this scatter plot, it is difficult to discriminate among samples of different tumor stages. Thus, in the current report, further the data was divided into two groups, that is stage 1 and 2 were considered as early stages and stage 3 and 4 were at late stages samples for subsequent analysis. The next step was performing the differential analysis using the DSEQ program. I conducted DSEQ2, enrichment analysis and GSEA analysis on dividing my data into early and late stage. The Volcano plot obtained here signifies the presence of highly significant genes and significant genes. The red dots in the pictorial representation of the Volcano plot signify the significant genes involved, whereas the genes which are labeled are the highly significant genes. We can see there are two highly significant upregulated genes which can be seen on the positive x-axis with the positive log2 fold chain, and other are the 10 highly significant downregulated genes involved on the negative x-axis having the negative log2 fold change values. The blue dots here don't represent the significant genes. Out of the 20,500 genes involved in my dataset, 297 significant genes can be identified. Here, the upregulated genes identified were 160 and the downregulated genes were 137. These significant genes were identified on changing the p-adjusted value below 0.05 and the log2 fold change value greater than or equal to 1.5 or less than or equal to minus 1.5. These are the Keck GSA plots we received. On the left-hand side, we can see the activated biological pathways associated, whereas the right side shows the suppressed pathways associated. As we can see, the count of the genes can be seen with the size of the circle. From this, we can conclude that the spliceosome pathway was the most activated pathway, whereas the neuroactive ligand receptor interaction pathway was the most suppressed pathway, as the highest number of genes involved in the activated pathways belong to the spliceosome pathway, whereas the highest number of suppressed or downregulated genes involved were from the neuroactive ligand receptor interaction pathway. The highest count of upregulated genes is associated with the spliceosomes and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease pathways. Therefore, it is the most activated pathway, whereas neuroactive ligand receptor interaction pathway is related to the highest number of downregulated genes, or it is the most suppressed pathway involved. These are the Keck enrichment plots. We can see the red squares symbolize the positive log fold genes or the upregulated genes, whereas the negative log fold change gives an idea about the downregulated genes. This is the network plot. We can see that steroid hormone biosynthesis, graft versus host disease, calcarcinogenesis DNA adducts, and metabolism of xenobiotics by cytochrome P50 and retinol metabolism are pictorially represented here. And these are the genes involved with the certain connected pathways or the networks. The next is the utilities pipeline. On further performing quantile normalization and PCA on the significant genes obtained, the data was divided into early and late stages, where early stage refers to stage 1 and 2, and late stage refers to stage 3 and 4 combined. This was the scatter plot obtained on the significant genes. As we can see, the clusters don't differentiate between the stages clearly. So in future, I would like to understand those two major clusters that we have obtained in the PCA scatter plot. Subsequently, to assess the discriminatory potential of these genes, I will go one step ahead and perform machine learning analysis to get better and distinct clusters of tumor stage. I would also like to expand my studies by considering other metadata available in the same data set on the basis of various other clinical characteristics of patients. Thank you for your patience.